Book 5. Epilogue. Chapter 7. A new plan hatched. A new plan. While Team Avatar works to get Guan to surrender peacefully, the general sets on a new path with a new plan. Can the Avatars stop him before it's too late? Airship. Mako, come in. Are you there? Mako grabs the radio on his waist and answers it. What is it, Korra? Commander Guan and his army just rolled into town. Get over here with Kuvira, now. The group then got on a jeep and started driving to Korra. Later jailing. Korra and Guan are facing one another at the foot of the steps. You must be Commander Guan, the famous Avatar Korra. At last, we meet. What brings you to jailing? He asks her. As you're aware, the Earth Empire's rule has ended. I'm here to make sure you and your troops surrender peacefully. Then I'm afraid you've traveled a long way for nothing. I have other plans, he says as they turn to see the others riding up. I figured you would say that. That's why I brought someone who can help you see things differently. As Korra speaks, the jeep drives down the street toward her and Guan, another panel showing Kuvira sitting in its passenger seat. I don't believe it. Guan says in disbelief. Is that really Kuvira? What's she doing here? Asami stops the jeep while looking at Kuvira. You say you've changed? Now's your chance to prove it. Kuvira got out, at that. I will. Walks toward Guan and Korra. Hello again, Commander Guan. So, the Great Uniters is now doing the Avatar's bidding, Guan says as Korra looks at him. Listen pal dash. Kuvira holds up a hand. I have this under control, Korra. She then turns to Guan. If you must know, it was actually my idea to come. I wanted to handle the situation personally out of respect to you, and to everyone who served the Earth Empire with honor. Don't talk to me about honor. You disgraced the Empire by giving up the fight in Republic City, he says to her. No one regrets the demise of the Earth Empire as much as I do. I'm proud of all our achievements and everything we did to modernize the kingdom. People will enjoy the benefits of what we have done for years to come. But we can't allow our personal feelings to obscure reality. Our great experiment has come to an end, she explains. No, it's only the beginning. Guan gestures to the surrounding area. There is so much more progress to be made. And why should others get to reap the rewards of everything the Earth Empire accomplished? I'm sure there's part of you that wishes you hadn't stood down, that wants to see how far we can take things. I've seen what lies at the end of that path, death and destruction. I stand by my decision, Commander. And it doesn't change the fact that the Earth Empire was defeated. No, you were defeated. My soldiers and I are still standing. Guan countered as she just stared. Yet, you have no real power. Your force is a fraction of what the Earth Empire once was. You've offered these men and women false hope that the Earth Empire has a future. It doesn't? Kuvira then walks past Guan. So, if you won't see reason, maybe they will. To the soldiers. I'm giving you all one final command. Surrender to King Wu and the Avatar, and you will all be dealt with fairly. All hail the Earth Empire. All hail Commander Guan. Guan grinned at that. I think it's clear where they stand. Kuvira sighs and turns to him. Very well. Then I challenge you to a fight, one-on-one. If I beat you, then you and your troops will surrender immediately. That ploy might have worked on the Avatar back in Zaofu, but I'm not foolish enough to fall for it. You may have struck fear into your followers once, but now we see you for what you really are, a spineless coward. Kuvira glares at him. If you won't give up willingly. Suddenly she earthbends him off his feet. Then I'll make you yield. Kuvira, stand down. Korra yells as Kuvira clenches her hands. Not until Guan does. Kuvira uses her metal bending to start choking Guan with his metal shoulder pads. Everyone around is paralyzed with shock as they watch. Surrender. Never. I'd rather die a martyr than live as a traitor. Release the commander. Korra runs up to them. That's enough, Kuvira. Before things can escalate further, Kuvira is suddenly electrocuted by an unknown source, and she cries out in pain before falling to the floor unconscious. Guan is dropped to the floor and he climbs up to his feet while coughing as Korra blinks. How? Asami walks over while holding a small device with a red button on the top. Remote trigger. She then removes Kuvira's belt and shows it has wires on the inside. Connected to an electrode belt. I thought we needed a backup plan. We did. Mako and Bolin pick up Kuvira, draping her arms over their shoulders. I knew bringing Kuvira was a bad idea. Korra sighs and looks at them. Put her in the jeep. I'll deal with her once we get back to the airship. The two brothers carry Kuvira toward the jeep as Korra, Asami, and Wu turn their attention to Guan, who is now rubbing his throat. I'm not finished with you yet, Guan. I won't let you interfere with Jailing's election. You misunderstand. I didn't come here to stop the democratic process. I came to take part in it. Wu blinks at that. What are you talking about? Kuvira is right. The Earth Empire has no real power. It never did, really. He explains as he walks past the three while taking out some papers. The world has never viewed us as a legitimate nation. But I'm going to change that. He hands the papers to Ri. Mayor Ri, I am officially declaring my candidacy for governor of Jailing. Here's my paperwork. You can't do that. Wu yells as Ri examines the paperwork. Technically, nothing is stopping him. It's an open election, and his documents seem to be in order. Guan walks away before speaking. Soon, the Earth Empire will have candidates in every state. And once we're in power, no one will be able to question our right to rule. Naruto, Korra, Wu, and Ri watch him leave, all of them bearing looks of dismay. I don't believe this. Airship. Ugh, what happened? Kuvira opens her eyes to see she is in the pod, as well as Team Avatar and Wu standing around her. What am I doing here? Cooling off. Naruto shrugged as Korra took a step up. I locked you up so you don't try something stupid again, like provoking an army. And Commander Guan? Where is he now? Kuvira asks as Korra crosses her arms. Probably printing up some campaign posters. You were right about him being a good strategist. Instead of conquering the states militarily, he's planning to take over politically. Is that so? Mako looks over at Wu. I say you call off the vote, at least for now. Make it impossible for Guan to win. Wu sighed at that. Mako, you know I love you, but I'm trying to encourage democracy. I can't just go around canceling elections because I don't like one of the candidates. We need to let this play out. Doubtful. So we just sit back and hope one of the other candidates wins? Asami asks as Korra sighs. I wouldn't hold my breath. They're not exactly what I would call inspiring. Korra explains as Kuvira looks at her. If you want to defeat Guan, you have to beat him at his own game. Find a candidate to run against him, someone who's popular enough to win. That's actually not a bad idea. Asami shrugs before Wu speaks. But there's only 1 week to go until the election. Who are we going to find on such short notice? I know the perfect person. Korra jumped at that as Bolin looked over. Who? Toph. She's a legend. Everyone loves her. Plus, Jailing is her hometown, and I know for a fact she hates the Earth Empire. And she would definitely bring a unique governing style to the Earth Kingdom. Excited. Sounds good to me. Wu smiles as Bolin sighs. Doubtful. There's one itsy-bitsy problem. Last time I saw Toph, she didn't seem too keen on getting involved with world affairs. Then we'll just have to convince her. Korra smiled and crossed her arms. Guan's camp. You should have seen Kuvira, Dr. Sheng. Inside Guan's tent, he stands with his back to Sheng. She's no longer the commanding woman who inspired us all. The Avatar's influence has clearly corrupted her mind. Then perhaps we need to recalibrate it for her. Perhaps, but at the moment, we have an election to prepare for. He turns to look at Sheng. You mentioned the first campaign recruits have arrived? Sheng gestures to a door. Right through here, sir. They start walking through it. You'll be pleased to hear that they're responding quite well to our messaging. Excellent. Guan said as they stood in front of 3 people, 2 men, and 1 woman, bound to chairs, each of the 3 recruits wearing a spherical metal hat that was wired up to various machines. Sheng then speaks. A vote for Commander Guan is a vote for progress and prosperity. Go with Guan. Having the recruits repeat it. A vote for Commander Guan is a vote for progress and prosperity. Go with Guan. The airship. I radioed Sue and let her know we're bringing Kuvira to Zaofu for safekeeping until the election is over. She didn't sound very happy about it. Asami said to Korra and Naruto as Wu in hiking clothes sat the wrong way on Naga. I figured she wouldn't be. But you don't have time to fly Kuvira all the way back to Republic City. Korra states that all 3 share a kiss. Your Highness, are you sure you don't want me to accompany you? Naruto turned to see Wu talking to a guard. No, Captain. Stay with the guards. The more eyes on Kuvira, the better. But I've heard the Foggy Bottom Swamp can be quite treacherous. Wu reached into his backpack before speaking. Don't worry, I'll have the avatars guiding me. He then takes out a can of bug spray. And I'm bringing plenty of bug spray. Kurama and the others are lucky that they went to the spirit realm for a vacation. Naruto sighed as he turned to walk to Naga. See you all back here tomorrow morning, Korra said as he followed Naruto. Naruto, Korra, and Wu proceed to ride off, the captain and the rest of Team Avatar watching them leave. Good luck. Say hi to Toph for me. Bolin waves at their retreating forms. No one noticed the Earth Empire soldier watching from a distance with binoculars. On board the airship, Asami addresses the pilot at the foot of the staircase leading up to the cockpit. We're ready for takeoff. Yes, Mrs. Uzumaki. The pilot walks up the stairs to the cockpit as Asami approaches Kuvira, still imprisoned within her platinum cell. I don't suppose you're going to let me out of here? Not until we arrive at Zaofu. Sue told me she has a nice cell waiting for you. Terrific. I'll get to trade 1 platinum prison for another. Kuvira sarcastically said from her pod. Mrs. Uzumaki, I'm afraid we're going to be delayed. The engines won't start. Asami looks around in surprise at this news, as Mako and Bolin appear behind her, Pabu resting on Bolin's shoulders. That's odd, they were working fine on the way here. Kuvira then tensed up at that. I think I might know why you're having engine trouble. Asami turned to her. And how would you know that? I suggest you let me out of here. Now. Mako looks at her crossing his arms. Why? All of a sudden, several Earth Empire soldiers swinging in on metal cables smash through the airship's windows, much to the shock of Asami, Mako and Bolin. Mako blasts one of the soldiers with a fireball before he can land. The other Earth Empire soldiers land and begin bending their metal blades about as Bolin dives for the room's table, Pabu leaping off his shoulders with a screech. Asami punches her opponent in the chest before kicking another of the soldiers in the head. Kuvira spots a third soldier reaching toward his cable spool while behind Asami. The soldier shoots out a cable that wraps around Asami, pinning her arms to her sides. Mako and Bolin are shown fending off 4 soldiers at once, Mako firebending and Bolin wielding his chair. Cables then wrap around the 2 brothers and slam their heads together, knocking them out. The next panel shows Asami, Mako, Bolin, the pilot, and Wu's guard sitting together on the floor, all of them tied up with rope as Earth Empire soldiers stand guard on either side of them, and Kuvira remains imprisoned inside the platinum cell. I have to hand it to you, Kuvira, waiting to escape until after Korra left was a smart move, Asami said to her. You fools, this wasn't my doing. Kuvira says as the airship's elevator arrives with a ding, before its doors open to reveal Guan and 2 more Earth Empire soldiers. It was his? Hello again, Kuvira. The others. Naruto, Korra, Wu, and Naga make their way through the foggy swamp. The swamp is a really strange place. But if you stick with me and Naga, you'll be fine. Let's just find Toph and get back to jailing, Wu said before Korra glanced back. First, I have to figure out where she is, Wu said as they stopped. There's no street signs to follow and she just woke up there after Toph found her. Then Jinora brought her bison to fly her back. Naruto said as he got off to look around. Korra kneels at a root and places a hand on it. I can tap into it and connect to Toph. Korra closes her eyes as the root begins to glow faintly around her hand, while Wu dismounts from Naga behind her. Wu begins to sing and walk away so he can relieve himself, asking Naga for privacy when he sees that she is watching him. Having finished, Wu steps back out from behind a tree but finds that Korra and Naga have inexplicably vanished, and he calls for Korra's aid. A voice tells him that the Avatar cannot help him and that he has lost his way. When the voice claims he is a weak king and a disgrace to the throne, Wu finds himself before a vision of his late great-aunt, Earth Queen Ho-Ting. The spectral queen tells him that he entrusted him with the Earth Kingdom and he has made a mess of it. Wu tells her that he is trying to change things and make the Earth Kingdom better. Ho-Ting responds that people do not care about change or progress, only stability. Wu raises that people should have the freedom to have a say in who leads them, though the vision tells him to stop fooling himself, and that he is only pushing for democracy because he is too scared to rule on his own. Wu objects, but Ho-Ting grows furious, telling him that he handed the Earth Kingdom over to Kuvira after she died and that he is ready to give away all his power again even after regaining the crown. Wu cowers and closes his eyes to then feel Korra's hand on his shoulder, telling him that he is all right. He tells Korra about his vision, and Korra apologizes, saying she should have told him beforehand that the swamp loves to mess with people's heads. Helping Wu onto Naga's saddle, Korra asks him to elaborate on their way to Toph, while Wu states that he will not ever go to the bathroom in the swamp again. They walked up to see Naruto looking around before walking to Naga. Later, Naruto, Korra, Wu, and Naga stand at the mouth of Toph's cave. Korra bends a flame in her hand to use as a torch, and she calls to Toph, who does not respond. Wu suggests she has moved on, but Korra tells him that she saw Toph through the vines. She asks Toph to come out once again as she is willing to wait as long as she needs, while Wu waits behind. To his left is a relief of a woman's face with closed eyes within the cave wall. The relief's eyes open, and Wu yelps in alarm, before an annoyed Toph emerges from the wall, having used her bending to hide within it. Korra grins and points to Toph, while the latter jokingly bemoans her avatar powers. Wu is relieved that Toph is not another vision, and Toph asks who he is. Korra introduces him as the king, and he bows to Toph in honor. Toph turns away and walks to the cooking fire, apologizing that she has never been a fan of the monarchy, which Wu understands. Toph bends her spark rocks to light the fire and hangs a kettle for her guests, asking what Korra wants. She responds by asking if a friend cannot stop by to say hello, but Toph asks for the real reason, knowing that she did not drag the Earth King out to the foggy swamp to enjoy her company. Toph and Korra sit down on the stone stools by the fire as Wu comes to join them. Korra asks if Toph has heard about Kuvura's surrender in Republic City, which Toph confirms, saying, "Good riddance." Wu raises that not everyone has surrendered. Korra asks her what she thinks of becoming a candidate, noting that Governor Beifong has a nice ring to it. Toph muses that Guan seems like a piece of work, and that she would love to put him in his place. Korra happily asks her if she will run, but Toph refuses, saying that Aang, Sokka, and Katara lived for politics, while she saw the government as a giant pool of mud, where anyone who fell in was going to come out filthy. Korra pleads to Toph, saying that it makes her perfect for the job, as she tells it as it is and is incorruptible. Toph says she hates being around people, gesturing to the cave around them as emphasis, and asks Korra why she thinks she wants to be of service to them. Korra asks if she does not want to make a positive change in her home state, and Toph responds that she hated growing up there. Wu seems defeated, and walking toward the entrance, wonders if Ho-Ting was right after all. Inspired, Korra stops Wu and whispers into his ear. Toph asks what they are talking about, and Korra slyly claims she told Wu to ignore his swamp vision. Toph grows incredulous, saying that the swamp is very wise, and pulls Wu by the wrist back to the fire to sit and share his vision. Wu tells Toph about the Earth Queen and her doubting his plan to democratize the Earth Kingdom. On Korra's prompting, he elaborates that Ho-Ting said that people do not want to change and that people would rather stick to what feels safe and secure to them rather than do anything outside their comfort zone. Korra reminds Toph that she once told her that the swamp would teach one open to listening to what they needed to learn, which Toph awkwardly acknowledges. Shoulders sagging at being defeated by her own words of wisdom, Toph gives in and agrees to run for governor. Wu gives her a hug, causing Korra to note that he is a hugger, prompting Toph to say that she gathered that. Guan's camp. I'm glad we finally have a chance to talk, away from the public and your new best friend, the Avatar. So tell me, are you ready to return and serve the Earth Empire once again? Kuvira started up at Guan. No, Commander Guan. I won't be returning. And I serve no one, not the Avatar, and especially not you. Then you've left me no other choice? Guan metal bends a tent wall to the side to reveal Asami, Mako, and Bolin, all three of them bound, gagged, and hooked up to the brainwashing machinery, with Dr. Shing standing behind Asami while checking a clipboard. Upon seeing Kuvira, Asami, Mako, and Bolin's eyes all widen in panic, Asami cries out behind her gag. Release them at once. You remember Dr. Shing, don't you? She worked very closely with your former fiancé. Guan says as Shing nods. Hello, Kuvira. Kuvira looks at the machinery and then at Guan. What? What is all this? Guan gestures to the machinery. This is how the Earth Empire will regain power. And keep it. Dr. Shing adjusts the machinery before looking back. After Batar Jr. left to become your second-in-command, I began researching more effective methods to re-educate the prisoners you sent to our camps. I discovered that the Dai Li had maintained order in Ba Sing Se for centuries by using enhanced indoctrination techniques. You mean brainwashing? Kuvira glares as the doctor nods. Yes. But while the Dai Li's methods were useful, they were also unreliable. More often than not, re-educated subjects would revert to their old selves. So, I began experimenting with magnetic waves to alter the brain. By combining modern technology with ancient techniques, I was able to dramatically increase effectiveness. Guan nods and looks at Kuvira. She learned how to control people's minds, and make it stick. Dr. Shing looks at Kuvira before speaking. But you surrendered before I could share my wonderful breakthrough with you. If you had, I would have shut you down. I never authorized such inhumane experiments. Dr. Shing turns to face the other woman. Maybe not directly, but don't act so naive. You demanded results from your followers. You never cared how we achieved them. No, that's not true. I hoped those who had gone astray would see the error in their ways. I wanted them to be motivated by my strength and leadership, not by some machine. You might change your opinion once you see what Dr. Sheng and I have accomplished in your absence. I think you'll be quite impressed. Guan says to her. Please, don't. As Dr. Sheng prepares to initiate the procedure, Asami glares at Kuvira while making a muffled noise through her gag. Asami, you have to know, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Later, Sheng addresses Asami, Mako, and Bolin, unbound and ungagged, with half-closed eyes and dull expressions. She tells them to obey Commander Guan, that the Avatar is no longer their friend, and that Korra is their enemy, which they repeat. The three stand up and remove their helmets as Guan points to the restrained Kuvira and orders Mako to put her in the chair. Asami begins to open the platinum cell and Mako readies handcuffs, Asami taunting her by saying that Kuvira is finally getting her wish to be let out. Asami and Bolin restrain her arms while Mako moves to her with handcuffs, but she yanks her wrists away before he can slip the cuffs onto her and kicks out within Asami and Bolin's grip, hitting Mako and knocking him backward. She crouches down and rushes forward, causing Asami and Bolan's heads to slam into each other. Seeing this, Guan bends metal strips off his shoulder pads at Kuvira to try to subdue her, ordering her to stand down. Kuvira bends the strips away, telling him that she may have surrendered to the Avatar, but she will not surrender to him. She metal bends the wall onto Guan, pinning him against the floor as Dr. Xing flees and Mako struggles to get up behind her. He bends fire at Kuvira, which she dodges. Kuvira apologizes to the brainwashed members of Team Avatar as she uses her metal bending to trap them in the tent. Kuvira flees the tent and escapes into Guan's camp, where his soldiers soon take notice of her. Running forward, Kuvira bends small pillars of earth to propel herself into the air just as a mecha suit tries to incinerate her with its flamethrower. She punches the ground upon landing, earthbending a larger pillar of earth that launches the mecha suit toward a pair of soldiers running after her. Guan then emerges from the tent with a snarl but sees no sight of Kuvira, his soldiers informing him that they lost sight of her. Guan tells them that she cannot have gotten far, and commands them to search the area. Soldiers rush off to find Kuvira, with jeeps driving out of the camp into the surrounding area. One jeep peels off from the others and drives into a deserted part of the mountains. The driving soldier brings the jeep to a stop and removes her helmet to reveal her identity as Kuvira, breathing a sigh of relief at her successful escape. Toph's Cave. Back in Toph's Cave, Korra asks her what she thinks of becoming a candidate, noting that Governor Beifong has a nice ring to it. Toph muses that Guan seems like a piece of work, and that she would love to put him in his place. Korra happily asks her if she will run, but Toph refuses, saying that Aang, Sokka, and Katara lived for politics, while she saw the government as a giant pool of mud, where anyone who fell in was going to come out filthy. Korra pleads to Toph, saying that it makes her perfect for the job, as she tells it as it is and is incorruptible. Toph says she hates being around people, gesturing to the cave around them as emphasis, and asks Korra why she thinks she wants to be of service to them. Korra asks if she does not want to make a positive change in her home state, and Toph responds that she hated growing up there. Wu seems defeated, and walking toward the entrance, wonders if Ho-Ting was right after all. Inspired, Korra stops Wu and whispers into his ear. Toph asks what they are talking about, and Korra slyly claims she told Wu to ignore his swamp vision. Toph grows incredulous, saying that the swamp is very wise, and pulls Wu by the wrist back to the fire to sit and share his vision. Wu tells Toph about the Earth Queen and her doubting his plan to democratize the Earth Kingdom. On Korra's prompting, he elaborates that Ho-Ting said that people do not want to change and that people would rather stick to what feels safe and secure to them rather than do anything outside their comfort zone. Korra reminds Toph that she once told her that the swamp would teach one open to listening to what they needed to learn, which Toph awkwardly acknowledges. Shoulders sagging at being defeated by her own words of wisdom, Toph gives in and agrees to run for governor. Wu gives her a hug, causing Korra to note that he is a hugger, prompting Toph to say that she gathered that. Back in the mountains, night has fallen as Kuvira observes Guan's camp through a pair of binoculars from behind some rocks. Lowering the binoculars, Kuvira looks toward a radio on the jeep's passenger seat before sitting down on the ground, her back resting against the rocks. Zaofu. Suin is sitting in front of a radio set, speaking with Kuvira over it. What's going on? Asami said she was bringing you to Zaofu. Where are you? Still in jailing. We never left. What did you do to Asami and the others? Suin asks her. Nothing. Commander Guan and his rebels attacked the airship before we got off the ground and took a bunch of us captive. Asami, Bolan, and Mako have been brainwashed. I managed to escape, but brainwashed? You expect me to believe that? Suin interrupts. I'm telling the truth. Naruto, Korra, and King Wu are off trying to find your mother and I'm out here all alone. I know you have every reason to hate me, but I didn't know who else to turn to. Please, I need your help. Jailing. Go with Guan. Go with Guan. The hell? Naruto asked as he dropped down beside Korra, Toph, and Wu who were riding into town on Naga, all of them looking around at the mass of Guan supporters with concern. I hope we're not too late. Inside the hall, Mayor Ri and Toph are sitting down at a table together, Korra and Wu standing behind Toph as Ri reads out the contents of a scroll for her. And paragraph 5, subsection 8, stipulates that in the event of a force majeure, the election will be suspended until such a time as Toph waved him off at that. Enough flimflammery. Where do I sign? Ri places the scroll on the table, before pointing to a spot on it. Right here, Miss Beifong. Korra takes Toph's wrist to assist her in signing the scroll. Congratulations. You're officially a candidate for governor of Jailing. Yippee, Toph says enthusiastically before looking at Ri. Give it to me straight, Mr. Mayor, what do you think my chances are? If you had asked me yesterday, I would have said you'll win easily, but practically overnight, there's been an unexpected groundswell of support for Guan. Toph narrows her eyes at that. You don't say. Later, Naruto flew beside Korra, Toph, and Wu, who were riding Naga through the streets, back toward the airfield. Asami and the others should be back at the airfield by now. Korra mused as they traveled. Korra saw Pabu running toward them, chittering all the while. Pabu? The fire ferret jumps up into her lap. Why aren't you with Bolin? She looks up and sees the jeep with the disguised Kuvira driving toward them. Uh-oh, we got trouble. Dismounting. Wu, stay put. Toph, I might need some backup. You got it. Kuvira parks the jeep while looking at the other four. You need to follow me. I'm not going anywhere with one of Guan's lackeys. Kuvira removes her helmet and says, I'm no lackey. Kuvira? Where are Asami, Mako and Bolin? Korra walks toward Kuvira while generating flames from both her fists, as Kuvira gets out of the jeep and holds up both her hands in a gesture of peace. I'll explain, but we need to get off the road before someone spots us. Guan's at the airfield waiting to ambush you, and dash. Kuvira's explanation is cut off when Korra shoots both of her fists forward, firebending a ring of flame around Kuvira and trapping her in place. I warned you if you hurt my friends, I would take you down. Korra, wait. Naruto flew over and grabbed her arms. If she did anything, why come to us? Kuvira tells her that Guan and his soldiers attacked the airship after Korra left, and brainwashed the other members of Team Avatar. Korra tells Kuvira not to lie to her, but the metal bender says that she is not lying, and asks Toph to verify it. Toph confirms that Kuvira is telling the truth, to Korra's surprise. Wu asks how she can know, and Kuvira explains that Toph is a truth-seer. Toph notes the suspicious nature of Guan's supporters repeating the slogan over again, comparing it to Long Feng. Korra asks who he is, and Wu tells her that he served Wu's great-great-grandfather Earth King K, manipulating the king alongside the Dai Li so they could control Ba Sing Se, and that Long Feng brainwashed anyone perceived to be a threat. Toph commends him on knowing his history and tells him to be glad he did not live through it. Korra asks what has happened to her friends, and Kuvira tells her that their minds are no longer their own, now following Guan's orders. Up ahead, Asami, Mako, and Bolin are hidden behind a set of earth-bent walls near the Future Industries airship. Guan peers at the airship over the top of the walls with binoculars, asking Team Avatar about them, saying Korra would meet them here in the afternoon. Bolin affirms that it was the plan, and Guan is alerted by a soldier's voice on the radio. The commander asks for good news, and the soldier tells him that the Avatar passed through town on her way to the airfield, but Kuvira intercepted her. Guan asks where they are now. Meanwhile, Wu proclaims that the situation is a disaster and that Guan will steal the election and brainwash the entire kingdom in the process. He despairs that it is all his fault and that he should have never asked Korra to come. Kuvira tells him that he could not have known this would happen, and Wu tells the group that he knows how he can make things right. He plans to call off the election, and Toph tells him that it is a great idea as she never wanted to run in the first place. Korra is unsure if this is the best strategy, but Wu confidently proclaims that it is perfect, as Guan is unable to steal the election if there is not one being held. Kuvira remarks that Wu is making a good point, and the king thanks her, excusing himself from the others and planning to return to the city hall and issue his decree to the mayor. Kuvira tells him not to, as none of them would get out of jailing without being brainwashed once Guan knew what they were up to. Korra asks what Kuvira would have them do, as Asami, Mako, and Bolin are in danger. Kuvira looks to the sky, telling them that they can regroup in Zaofu and get reinforcements there. Wu inquires about Zaofu, and Kuvira points to an approaching Metal Clan airship in the distance. She tells the group that she radioed Suin, who agreed to pick them up after some convincing. Aboard the airship, Opal says that she does not understand why her mother did not send Metal Clan soldiers to collect Kuvira, asking how Suin could still have a soft spot for her after all the anguish she put the family through. Suin curtly dismisses the point, telling her that it is important she does it herself and this is not the time to discuss it, and orders the pilot to bring them down as she walks away. The airship lands in front of the group, lowering its gangway and opening its back doors to reveal Suin, Opal, Wei, and Wing standing at the top. Kuvira warmly greets Suin, though Toph interrupts the group's reunion as she feels the ground rumble, informing them that Guan's army has found them and they need to escape. Korra's party heads onto the airship, Toph leading them, and is warmly approached by her daughter and grandchildren, all of whom are happy to see her. Toph notes she wished it was under better circumstances. Suin notices Korra hesitating to board the ship, and the Avatar tells her to go, as she is not leaving without Asami, Mako, and Bolin. Guan's forces arrive and head toward the ship. Kuvira tells Korra that they could possibly learn how to reverse Sheng's magnetic brainwashing process in Zaofu, but Korra is resolute that she will not abandon her friends as a madman. Kuvira accepts this, telling the Avatar that she will help to get her friends back, with Suin and Toph offering to support Korra too. Toph tells Wu to wait on the ship, as things will begin to get ugly. On the ground, a jeep containing Asami, Mako, and Bolin parks at the center of Guan's army's formation. He tells the three that the Avatar is their enemy and orders her to be brought to him. The brainwashed members accept the order, stepping out of the jeep and readying their respective weapons, a fire dagger, an electric glove, and a lava shuriken. Once ready, they advance to Korra and the others ahead of the rest of Guan's forces. Korra, Kuvira, and the Bifong stood at the gangway, Wei cracking his knuckles and Wing flexing his arms, while Opal and Korra called out to their respective partners. Bolin. It's me. Please, stop. Asami, you can fight this. Kuvira looks at them before speaking. It's pointless to try and reason with them. We'll have to play defense, Korra says before Toph takes a step forward. I can take them out, no problem. Grandma, no. We don't want to hurt them. Korra looked at the others before speaking. Opal and I will steer them towards you. Wrap them up with cables and get them on the ship? Or I could do this. Naruto shrugged before bending lava in a circle covering the three and creating a line forcing the army back as he continued to make it larger. He then flew and grabbed Asami before using the wire in his spool to wrap her arms to herself before going back to the ship as Bolin had the circle cool off. Bolin earthbends rocks at Suin, which she turns away with her own bending, while Mako sends a jet of fire at Wing, who earthbends a barrier in its path. Korra and Opal then airbend curved blasts of wind at Mako and Bolin, pushing them up tight against each other, before Suin, Wei, and Wing shoot out their metal cables, wrapping them around the brothers and binding them together. Guan soldiers and mechatanks advance toward the airship, after creating a bridge over the lava while Suin and Kuvira move to stand next to Toph, who is already standing in the path of the approaching troops. As one, the three women all crouch down and punch the ground with both their fists, causing large columns of earth to burst out from the ground beneath Guan's troops, sending several of them flying. Elsewhere on the battlefield, Opal is fighting with Bolin, who earthbends up 2 rocks before launching them at her. Opal deflects the first rock with her airbending, but the second strikes her near the left shoulder, causing her to grunt in pain before collapsing unconscious. Wu, who is watching the battle from his hiding spot with an increasingly nervous look, is Pabu watching over his shoulder. Wu then sees the captain's half-closed eyes, and realizes what has happened as the bodyguards continue to approach him, Pabu letting out a hiss. Guan got to you, too. The brainwashed guards then grab Wu, causing him to let out a scream as Pabu jumps off his shoulder. Suin, Toph, and Kuvira are shown hiding behind a stone wall as Mako and a group of mechasuits blast at them with firebending and flamethrowers, respectively, while Wei and Wing carry the unconscious Opal back onto the airship. Bolin uses his earthbending to lower the wall, allowing the flames to pass unhindered. Kuvira dives out of the way, while Suin tackles Toph to the floor. Suin guides Toph toward the airship as Korra jumps in to cover them, holding off the flame attack with her airbending. Suin gets Toph aboard the airship as Kuvira leads Asami up the gangway behind her, Korra continuing to hold back the flames. Finally, Korra retreats onto the airship, which takes off as Guan soldiers attack it to no effect, before flying away into the distance. Guan watches it leave, as the captain and another of Wu's bodyguards approach him from behind, both gripping the captured king by the arms. When they inform the commander that they captured the king, he notes that the day is not a total defeat. Aboard the Metal Clan airship, Korra locks Asami inside a platinum pod, as her brainwashed girlfriend glares at her. She apologizes for having to do this, and that she is sorry about what Guan did to her. Asami rebuffs Korra's statements, telling her not to pretend she cares, and that she is the enemy. Korra sadly tells her that she does not know what she is saying and that those are Guan's words. Elsewhere, Wing asks their mother aside if she wants them to restrain Kuvira. Suin tells the twins to leave her be, and that she is not the flight risk, and Wei hopes that she is right. Toph and Opal rest on a bench nearby, the airbender's head lying in her grandmother's lap, while Korra approaches Kuvira, asking her about the possibility of countering the brainwashing. Kuvira tells her that she got a good look at Xing's setup, but that she will need Batar Jr.'s help to reverse engineer the device. Guan's camp. Back at the re-education camp, Guan orders his forces to prepare a new subject. Mako and Bolin place a wired helmet on Wu's head and place a gag on his mouth as he gives off a muffled scream, binding his arms to his sides while sitting him down in a chair in preparation for his brainwashing. The pair stand to attention on either side of Wu as Dr. Sheng begins operating the machinery, Guan watching on and telling her to begin. Chapter 8. Empire Crumbled. An empire crumpled. The Avatar's friends and lover are under the control of Guan. Guan meanwhile is trying to get elected as ruler and start his new empire. Can the Avatars free their friends and save the Earth Kingdom? Zaofu. Naruto, Korra, Suin, Toph, Wei, Wing, Opal, Asami, Naga, and Pabu are on the grounds of the Beifong estate, Toph and Pabu sitting on Naga's back, and Asami still in the platinum cell, which is being wheeled along by Korra. Suin turned to her sons before speaking. Boys, help your sister to her room and call the medic? I'll be fine, Mom. Suin then turned to the avatars to speak to them. Korra, take Asami inside. The group starts making their way through the grounds as Kuvira emerges from a tunnel behind Korra and looks up at her old home. Suin notices this and looks around at her. Come on, Kuvira. You're going to have to face him sooner or later. Suin, Kuvira, Naruto, and Korra then enter the residence building with Asami, stepping into a hall with doors leading off to the sides, and metal clan guards stationed around. We're going to get you settled in a room, Asami. But you'll be confined to the residence, the same as Kuvira. And my son? Suin said to Asami. Asami is taken to the door of a bedroom, as Korra begins undoing the locks on the platinum cell. Which is just another way of saying I'm being imprisoned. Suin shook her head at that. No, but you will be watched. For your safety? The cell is unlocked, and Asami steps out and walks into the room while glaring at Suin. And ours? Korra stepped into the doorway and addressed Asami. We're going to find a way to help you. I promise. Asami ignores Korra, who closes the door before Naruto stops her for a second. You can ignore us, but it won't change anything about us helping you. Naruto said to her as Baatar Jr. approaches Kuvira from behind. I never thought you'd have the courage to return home. Kuvira turns around in surprise at the sound of Baatar Jr.'s voice, to see him standing there in casual clothes, and with an unfriendly expression. Hello, Kuvira. I didn't know if I'd ever see you again. Baatar Jr. crossed his arms before speaking. And you wouldn't have if Korra and her friends hadn't saved me. I feel terrible about what happened. But you remember all the pressure we were under. I'm sure if you had been in my position you would have tried to kill my fiancé with a blast of spirit energy? Never. I loved you, Kuvira. When Mother told me you were coming, she mentioned that you were trying to change. I didn't believe her. I had to see for myself, but you're exactly the same. He interrupts her. Kuvira is taken aback by these words, with Korra and Suin bearing similar expressions, and Baatar Jr. turns around and returns to his room. Baatar, wait. I need your help, she said as she walked forward. Baatar ignores her and slams the bedroom door in her face, surprising Kuvira before she tilts her head down and grimaces. Suin comes up and places a hand on Kuvira's shoulder, before turning to a pair of her guards. Show Kuvira to her quarters. Korra watches as Kuvira enters another bedroom, closely watched by the two guards, and then knocks on Baatar Jr.'s door. Baatar, it's Korra. I have to speak with you. It's urgent. I understand why you don't want to help Kuvira, but I'm hoping you'll help me. The future of the Earth Kingdom depends on it. Korra is left waiting outside for a few seconds before the door opens and Baatar Jr. looks at her. Come in. Jailing City Hall. Mayor Ri is working on some paperwork in his office when King Wu and two of his bodyguards with dull expressions enter the room. I'd like a word, Mayor Ri. About the election. Ri stood up. Of course, Your Highness. Everything is right on schedule. In less than a week, the citizens of Jailing will be casting their votes. There's been a change of plans? The election will take place today. Today? But the voters won't even know to show up. They're already here. Ri looks out of the window, where he sees a large crowd of Guan's brainwashed supporters gathered in the streets below, as Wu continues speaking. For the good of the kingdom, I've decided that the move to democracy cannot wait any longer. He hands Ri a scroll. Here is my royal decree concerning the matter. In the interest of fairness, please allow me a few days to inform the other precincts about the change, Ri said before Wu yelled. Suddenly turning angry. How dare you defy your king? Ri bowed at that. My apologies, Your Highness. I'll go let the voters in. Zaofu. Pabu is running around outside, with Naga sitting close by. Inside the residence, the Beifong family minus Baatar Jr. sat down for dinner alongside Naruto, Korra, and Kuvira, the latter now wearing casual clothes and sat next to Korra, and Opal sat down beside Naruto. So, Baatar is willing to work with me? That's wonderful news, Kuvira says as Korra nods. He agreed to temporarily put aside his anger toward you to help the greater good. He still feels guilty for everything he did when he was part of the Earth Empire. Unlike some people, Opal glances off to the side as she makes this remark, which causes Kuvira to look at her with an annoyed expression. Korra keeps eating, trying to ignore the hostile atmosphere, before looking at Kuvira again. But Baatar made it very clear that once you two recreate Dr. Sheng's brainwashing device, he never wants to see you again. I'll respect his wishes, Kuvira states as she looks away. If the goal is to put an end to the Earth Empire once and for all, why don't we call in some reinforcements? Wing asks as Wei nods. Yeah, Guan's not such a hotshot. If we had the full force of the Metal Clan behind us, we could take down him and his army, lickety-split. Suin looks at the two of them. Boys, we can't be seen as aggressors. If Zaofu interferes in another state's election, it would throw the entire democratic movement into turmoil. What democratic movement? Guan brainwashed half the voters. And probably the Earth King, too, Toph states from her seat. If Guan controls Wu, he'll be able to wield influence over the entire Earth Kingdom. It's quite a brilliant plan, actually, Kuvira states as Opal glares over at her. Yeah, I bet you wish you had thought to brainwash everyone. Then you would still be in power? That's not what I meant. Korra is now visibly uneasy from the friction between the two, before Suin glares at both Kuvira and Opal. That's enough, girls. We need to let the vote go forward and see this play out. Toph scoffed at that. Don't get your hopes up, Su. I pretty much forfeited that election the second we hightailed it out of jailing. Guan's got it in the bag. Baatar Jr. then enters the room and speaks, causing everyone at the table to look at him. Not necessarily. Assuming I can figure out how to restore Asami's mind, we can then use that knowledge to free Jailing's brainwashed citizens. Once they realize what Commander Guan did to them, they'll turn on Guan and he'll lose all his support. Kuvira finishes as Suin turns to her mother with a smile. And you'll be voted in as Governor Beifong. Yippee. Kuvira stands up, Korra soon follows suit. I appreciate you agreeing to help. Baatar turns and walks away, his expression cold. We should get started. Naruto, Korra, and Kuvira follow after him. Later, Naruto sat on a couch as Korra was pacing in front of him. Baatar Jr. and Kuvira have been working all day. He looked to the front of the room and saw Asami, who was sitting down on the bed and glaring at them. This nightmare will be over soon. Korra reaches over to take one of Asami's hands, but Asami yanks it away before she can do so. Don't touch me. Korra withdraws her hand, looking heartbroken at Asami's hostility toward her, before they hear a knock on the door, which opens to show Suin. Baatar's ready for her. With the help of Kuvira's memory and his own experiences working with Dr. Sheng, Baatar Jr. builds a near-perfect replica of the brainwashing machine and attempts to use it on Asami, but fails to free her mind due to not knowing the exact settings originally used to brainwash her. Kuvira suggests that he use an unaffected test subject, with Baatar Jr. agreeing that it could help him establish a baseline from which to make further adjustments. Korra volunteers herself, but Baatar Jr. refuses, explaining that the process could affect the test subject's memory and that he does not want to be responsible for damaging the avatar's mind. Hearing this, Kuvira offers to be the test subject, much to the surprise of Korra and Baatar Jr. Suin tries to dissuade Kuvira, but the former dictator replies that Guan and the remains of the Earth Empire are her mess to clear up, causing Baatar Jr. to wonder if Kuvira has changed more than he thought. Baatar Jr. hooks Kuvira up to the machinery and activates it. The procedure causes Kuvira to recall another memory of her childhood, from after she was taken in by the Beifongs. As the memory ends, Kuvira learns that the test is over and that Baatar Jr. has gotten everything he needs from it. Asami is brought back in, and the brainwashing is successfully broken on her, though she retains no memory of what she did while under its effects. Suddenly, Wei, Wing, and Opal come in and urge Suin to turn on the radio, which is broadcasting the news of Guan's victory in the election. Afterward, Korra calls President Julie Moon to explain what has happened and request backup for dealing with Guan, but Julie insists on handling the situation carefully out of concern for what might happen if Wu is discovered to have been brainwashed by Guan. She informs Korra that with the Earth Empire in a position to return thanks to Guan's control of Wu, she plans to discuss a solution with Suin and the other world leaders, and orders Korra to bring Kuvira back to Republic City, claiming she is now more of a hindrance than a help. Korra agrees, intending to leave Zaofu with Kuvira first thing in the morning, and Kuvira remarks to Baatar Jr. that he will get his wish to never see her again. After he tells her to have a safe trip back, Kuvira assures him that it broke her heart to sacrifice him for the Earth Empire and that she loved him as well. Baatar Jr. replies in turn that it was nice to work with her again, and leaves as a pair of Zaofu guards arrive to lead Kuvira away. Later on in the night, Naruto, Korra, and Asami are in a bedroom and in their sleepwear, Asami looking out of the window with a troubled expression, while Naruto and Korra are sitting on the bed and looking at her. Aren't you coming to bed? Asami sighed at Naruto's question. I can't get over what happened. It's so strange not being able to remember whole days of my life. Did I say or do anything I might have regretted? Korra becomes saddened upon hearing this question, and she gets off the bed and approaches Asami. Whatever you might have said, it doesn't matter now. I know it wasn't you talking. Still, let's just put that all behind us, okay? Asami rests her head against Korra's before the two women break apart and smile at each other. Korra takes Asami's hand as she pulls her over and climbs back onto the bed to Naruto. Later. 1. Knock knock. It's Sue. Open up. Naruto fixed himself before standing and walking to the door, glancing back to admire his kneeling at the bed wives' bare asses before opening the door and stepping outside to talk to Suin. How'd your talk with President Moon go? Did you have any idea what Kuvura was planning? Naruto blinked at that. What the hell are you talking about? I found the guards unconscious outside her door. Kuvura's gone. The door opened to reveal Korra and Asami dressed to look at her. She stole one of our planes and fled. Zaofu. Naruto, Korra, Asami, and Suin continue their conversation while walking over the estate grounds. She must have been waiting for just the right moment to escape. She played us all? Asami says as Korra looks back. I don't think so. Looking at Asami. It's thanks to her that you're free. In jailing, she warned me that Guan had brainwashed me. And she even volunteered to be tested on so you could get your mind back? She did. Suin then turned to Korra. Korra, do you have any idea where Kuvura might be heading? She was pretty livid when Guan refused to surrender to her. My bet? Kuvura decided not to wait around for the diplomatic process to play out. Which means there's only one place she could be going. Jailing. In jailing, Guan has re-dismissed from his position, claiming to no longer need him, before finding that Kuvura has sneaked into his office. Kuvura claims to want to rejoin the Earth Empire, citing Guan's earlier point at how others should not be able to reap the benefits of its accomplishments, and stating that his path is the only one left for her to follow, as she has lost everyone she considered family in her quest for power. She offers to join him under one condition. Guan becomes furious, thinking she will ask him to step down for her due to the risks and sacrifices he made. She asks Guan and Dr. Sheng to use their brainwashing technology to make her forget how she almost killed her mother, as well as her life with the Bifongs and her memories of those she has hurt, despite how this would put her under Guan's control. When Guan points this out, Kuvura replies that it would not be the first time she has surrendered and that he would have to brainwash her anyway to ensure he could trust her. She states that he will have her complete obedience, and she will have a guilt-free conscience. Elsewhere, Korra, Asami, Suin, Toph, and Opal fly to jailing on the back of Juicy, where they find the stolen plane but no sign of Kuvura. Opal claims that Kuvura has once again betrayed Suin after taking advantage of her goodwill, and accuses her mother of always giving Kuvura the benefit of the doubt when Suin does not agree. Meanwhile, Kuvura is taken to Guan's camp, where she is restrained in a chair and hooked up to the brainwashing machine. Before Guan and Dr. Sheng can brainwash her, however, Kuvura, who is still able to move her hands, uses her metal bending to jam the other two brainwashing helmets on their heads, as well as free herself from the chair. She reveals that she plans to use the knowledge of the brainwashing machine that she picked up from Batar Jr. to brainwash Guan and Dr. Sheng into surrendering and confessing their crimes, but is suddenly attacked by the still brainwashed Mako and Bolin, who had been put on standby by Guan in anticipation of Kuvura's treachery. Kuvura is forced to flee, whereupon she is spotted by the group on Juicy, who comes to her aid. Korra subdues Mako and Bolin with air bending, the Bifongs deal with the rest of Guan's forces, and Asami electrocutes Dr. Sheng with her electrical glove in retaliation for her brainwashing. Guan tries to escape in a jeep but is intercepted by Kuvura and the two of them battle. Kuvura emerges as the victor, and Guan verbally surrenders, but Kuvura states that it is too late for him to do so. Advancing on Guan while levitating blades of jagged metal, Kuvura vows to make sure he can never rise again, but Suin stops her from killing him, explaining that it will not solve anything or bring her peace. Everyone, stand down. Guan said to his men as Naruto landed. This'll make me feel better, he said before earthbending around Guan's left leg and then twisting it to break his leg. Ah, mess with my wives again and I'll kill you, Naruto said before turning to walk away. Dawn. In the now secured camp, Mako, Bolin, and Wu are hooked up to the brainwashing equipment again with Asami at the control panel and Korra reading from a piece of paper. You will no longer obey Commander Guan's orders, your minds are yours again. Once the brainwashing is undone, Mako, Bolin, and Wu are shown looking shocked as they return to their normal selves. Later. I can't thank you enough, Avatar Korra. Inside the voting area, a group of Guan's victims are having their brainwashing removed by Asami, with others queuing up nearby as Ri, Wu, Naruto, Korra, and Kuvura stand off to the side. Without your help, jailing and its citizens would continue to be under Commander Guan's control. You should be thanking Kuvura. If she hadn't taken matters into her own hands, Guan would still be in power. Korra then turned to Kuvura. But this doesn't mean you're off the hook. I have my orders to take you back to Republic City. Kuvura sighed at that. I know. Ri turned to Wu to speak. Considering everything that's happened, should we plan to move forward with the election as originally scheduled? Later, Wu stood outside standing in front of a microphone while addressing a crowd of townspeople from the stairs, and Team Avatar, Ri, Toph, and Suin standing close by. It has been a trying week for all of us, and I can't help but feel responsible. I was so eager for change that I pressed ahead with the election, despite the objections. Upon reconsideration, I have decided to alter the Earth Kingdom's path towards democracy. Each state will come up with its own timetable for elections, according to the wishes of its citizens. I refuse to force my will upon the people, the way Commander Guan forced his will upon me, and so many of you. The United Republic took decades to elect its first president. Expecting the rest of the Earth Kingdom to become a democracy overnight wasn't realistic. I understand that now. Raising his fist with a smile. I am still committed to transforming the kingdom so that its government represents everyone. But until that time comes, I will continue to serve as your king. And I hope to be the strong, compassionate leader you all deserve. After his speech, Wu steps away from the microphone with a wave to the crowd, who cheer and applaud him. Republic City. This tribunal will once again come to order. In the courtroom, Kuvira stood in front of the judge's bench with her hair done up. As the judge speaks, Varric walks up to the judge's bench. At this time, we call Icknick Blackstone Varric. To Varric. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give this tribunal will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Varric standing next to Kuvira nodded. Darn tootin'. You initially helped develop spirit energy technology for the Earth Empire, is that correct? Varric nodded at the judge's question. Yes, but I tried to shut the project down when I once realized how dangerous it was. And did Kuvira agree with your decision? Varric shook his head at that. No. She made me keep working on it. And she threatened to kill me if I didn't do what she said. She's a horrible, horrible person. That's enough, Varric, Kuvira said, having Varric cover himself with his arms. Please, don't hurt me. Do not intimidate the witness, Kuvira. We will hear what he has to say. The judge said as Kuvira looked up. You don't need to. I confess to everything. I refused to turn over emergency powers and took over the Earth Kingdom because I thought I knew what was best for everyone. I was wrong. And though I wasn't fully aware of everything going on in the re-education camps, I should have been. I wanted so badly to wield power and change the world, I didn't concern myself with the consequences, she said as the crowd listened before continuing. I wish I could forget the terrible things I've done, the people I've hurt, but I can't. I just hope that by taking full responsibility for what I've done, I can begin to heal some of the pain I've caused. So, I am entering a new plea. Guilty? As Kuvira finishes her plea, the rest of the courtroom's audience gives her a look of surprise. After the hearing, the 5 members of Team Avatar stood together in the courthouse corridor, talking to each other. I'm going to have to hurry back to City Hall soon. President Moon has back-to-back meetings all afternoon. Bolin said as Mako grinned at his brother. You're sticking with the job, huh? Being Commander Guan's lackey didn't turn you off to politics? Bolin placed a hand on Mako's shoulder. It may not be my true calling, but after everything we went through, I'm fine with a boring office job filing paperwork. At least for a while. Korra turned before speaking as Kuvira entered the hall with 2 White Lotus escorting her. Here she comes. I respect you for everything you said there, Kuvira. You redeemed yourself. And I never thought I'd say this, but I'm grateful for what you did for us, Naruto said, crossing his arms. It's going to take me a very long time to forgive you. But I'm glad you were on our side this time. Kuvira nods at that. Me too. I owe you an apology, Kuvira. They turned as Suin walked up. What are you talking about? I can't help but think that if I had been a better mentor, a better mother, I could have guided you on a more appropriate path. Kuvira looks at Suin before speaking. You took me in when I was a wild, arrogant little girl and cared for me when no one else did. There were so many times over the years when you could have abandoned me, but you never did, not even when I was at my worst. So, you have nothing to apologize for. I'm the one who is sorry I never fully appreciated what an amazing, selfless mother you are, she said before Suin hugged her. I wish we had more time. Suin pulled back at that to speak. We will. I spoke with President Moon and the tribunal. Thanks to your show of remorse, and because of your help in ending the Earth Empire and stopping Guan, they have all agreed to release you into my custody. Kuvira looked confused at that. I'm going home? Suin nods at that. Yes. You will be under house arrest, the same as Batar Jr., but if you even think about trying to escape again, you'll be thrown right back into the maximum security prison. Kuvira nods, herself. Understood. And everyone's all right with this arrangement? What will Batar Jr. say? Opal walks up to them. Honestly, when Mom suggested the idea, we all thought she was crazy. But we came around. I'm sure he will too. You may not have been born a Beifong. She trails off as Kuvira and Suin walk on, followed by Batar, Huan, Wei, Wing, and then Opal. But you'll always be part of this family. Naruto smiles before walking with his wives back home. Book 5. Epilogue. Chapter 8. The End. It's the end of a story. Years have passed since Guan tried to gain power. Now, things have settled down and the Avatar has started a family with her lovers. Is this really the end? Republic City 7 years later. Daddy. Naruto grunted as a rocket hit his stomach. He was wearing only a pair of black pants and looked down to see a 5-year-old girl with tan skin, dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, and 2 whisker marks wearing blue clothing. Morning, Siri. Naruto smiled as he hugged his eldest child. She ran past him before he walked to the kitchen and saw Korra at the counter wearing a white tank top barely containing her larger breasts and pants that were pulled low. How's my lovely Avatar? He asks her as he wraps his arms around her from behind. Korra smiles as she leans up to kiss him. I'm doing pretty good. Asami, wearing black pants and a tank top, walks in holding a 3-year-old boy with black hair, blue eyes, and 2 whisker marks. Morning. Morning. The 2 others replied to her. Hey, Tenzin. Naruto picked up his son before setting him down at the table. Any plans for the day? Naruto looked over at Asami before smiling. Just spend the day with you all. Zira took control of the force today, so I'm free. Korra brought plates over and held in a smirk as Naruto stared at her chest when bending down and saw she wasn't wearing a bra. Later that night, Naruto was making out with Korra in the hall, as Jinora was watching the kids for the night before Asami kissed the back of his neck. Pulling back, he kissed her as Korra took his hand, and turned to walk down the hall, holding his hand over her shoulder. Naruto turned to stare at her swaying ass as her pants were pulled lower, showing the top of her cheeks. Korra guided Naruto and Asami to their room, and as soon as the door closed behind them, wasted no time in pressing herself against Naruto to make out with him. Asami stepped away to watch while Naruto encircled his arms around his dark-skinned lover's waist to pull her tighter against him. Korra moaned into his mouth when his hands gripped the cheeks of her ass, and pulled her against his groin. Korra pulled her lips away and looked at Asami. Wanna join? Outside, a woman was watching the building that Naruto and his family live in. 1. She's wearing a helmet and a blue visor with moving words on it, as well as a small map at the bottom. She has long blonde hair pulled in a ponytail and wearing a black full-body suit with armor on the chest, elbows, shoulders, shins, and knees, along with combat boots and a red utility belt with 2 katanas on her back in an X. 2. Welp, I didn't need to do much in this universe, she says as a breeze blows. Flashback. Republic City, dawn. The woman saw Tarlok drive into town before seeing more cars coming to the tracks he just left. She did several hand signs before slamming them down, and had the road frost to keep the tracks from being messed with. Up ahead, Naruto, wearing black pants, boots, and a white hooded vest, walked out of the Task Force HQ's door before seeing Tarlok ride in a truck from the road leading out of the city. That's strange, Naruto said before walking down the steps to his motorcycle with saddlebags on it. Turning it on, he turned around and went to the road and saw only one set of tracks leading to the mountains. He followed them, and as he got to the trees, Naga ran out of the city and started sniffing the road before running after Naruto. After Unavatu attacked the city, the woman then moved a large jar down near the steps to the temple before she saw Naruto and Korra looking around for the airbenders before jumping into a tree by them. Hello? Tenzin? We need your help. Korra, what's wrong? Korra screamed as Jinora's spirit floated down to her in a meditative pose. Jinora? Where are you? Naruto asked as Jinora looked at him. I'm with the rest of the family in an airship coming back from visiting Grandma Katara. But I sensed you two were in trouble. Yeah, in a way. Some chi blockers hit us with darts that blocked our bending. I think they're following us, Korra explained, looking over her shoulder. There is spirit water in the jars around the temple. That might help you recuperate, Jinora said, floating to the side and pointing to a large jar at the top of the steps. Just as chi blockers dropped down. No time now. Guess we gotta deal with these jerks first, Korra said as she and Naruto got in a stance. Chi blockers beat us to Air Temple Island? How is that possible? Could the old guy know we were going to come here? Naruto asked before blocking a strike, then tossed the chi blocker into a jar, breaking it. Maybe he sent some here to get us? Korra kicked one in the head as Naruto jumped over to kick the third. They then ran up the steps and saw a large jar with blue decorations on it. There. They ran over and each took a drink. I can feel my energy coming back, Korra said before waterbending water from a pond followed by Naruto. He then tried to firebend, only for nothing to happen. The others are still gone though, he said before they turned, only to see an earthbender triad member drop down. Naruto sighed before pulling water up and threw it at the man's head. He froze it before kicking the man into a wall, breaking the ice, and knocking the man out. We gotta make sure the temple's okay. Tenzin will blame me if something happens to it, Korra said as Naruto looked over before they ran. Why would he think that? It's not like you have a temper or anything. He smirked as Korra puffed her cheeks at that as they ran up the stairs to the temple. As they got to another level, a firebender triad member dropped down and threw flames at them. Hot enough for you? Naruto grabbed some water and threw it at the bender as Korra got behind him. She threw him up in the air with water before kicking him towards Naruto, who punched him and knocked him out. Ba Sing Se after Earth Queen's death. The woman kept people from one blimp before seeing Naruto, Bolin, and Mako running before she disappeared in a puff of smoke. Should we do something? Bolin asked as they saw the looting going on. No time, Naruto spoke up. We have to deliver Zahir's message to Korra immediately, right? Okay. Find Korra, and deliver the message. Yeah, this should be easy. We just have to get out of the city and get to the desert, then somehow find her in the vast, expansive wasteland that goes on for thousands and thousands of miles. This isn't gonna be easy. We need an airship, Mako said before running to one that had people breaking the equipment. Hey, the vault's open with tons of gold still left. Naruto yelled, getting the people to run out. This still able to fly? I don't know, Mako replied, walking to the wheel. They took everything. I mean, who rips out a transmission radio? Some folks just do not have respect for other people's property. Now let's steal this airship, Bolin said walking up to the wheel as well. You know how to fly this thing? Technically speaking? No. But, come on, how hard can it be? Bolin started the ship as it nosedived into the ground. Up. Up. I don't see any up button. I see levers and switches. Oh, there it is. They went to their family's house and rescued them before flying out into the desert. Let's go to where the SOS came from first, Naruto said as they flew. Republic City, after Korra returns from injury. The woman on top of a building saw Naruto in another across the street knock out a man from the small window of the bathroom he was in before seeing a group run in the back door. Taking out an air rifle, she shot it, having the pellet hit the back wall, and had Naruto turn to it. Stall, now. Not needing to be told twice, Wu got in the back stall and locked the door. Another man ran in with a knife before Naruto blocked it by grabbing him by the arm. Naruto brought his elbow down on the man's collarbone before tossing him into the back wall. Two more men ran in before Naruto blocked one's punches and knee strikes before punching him in the face. Naruto turned to kick the other man to stop him before jumping to kick the man's stomach with his other foot. The second man tried for another attack before Naruto threw him into the mirror, breaking it. Catching the third man's arm, Naruto slammed his head into the sink several times before dropping him and bringing his foot down for a stomp, cracking the tiled floor. He turned to block a kick from the first man and then several knee strikes before the man jumped, kicking him back. The man then grabbed Naruto's head for knee strikes before jumping off Naruto's knee for a final strike. Only to have Naruto yell as he grabbed the man, and spun to have him hit head first in the wall, cracking it. Spirit Portal, Takuga's attack. Spirit World. In the Spirit World, Bolin runs toward the now crashed airship as Korra, Naruto, and Wukong before they look around to see an approaching group of dark spirits, the giant rock spirit and the dragon eel spirit among them. The dark spirits are back. The dragon eel spirit looks at Korra. Haven't you brought enough turmoil to our world, Avatar? I promise, we're not here to cause any trouble, Korra said walking up. As long as that portal remains open, there will be strife between humans and spirits, the spirit explains as Wukong looks over. How can there be balance when men like him are determined to exploit our world? Korra looks down and sighs. Maybe the spirits are right? Keeping the northern and southern portals open was one thing, but maybe this one was never meant to exist. No, you can't close it. It's too precious. Naruto places a hand on her shoulder. Naruto's right? Everyone looks at Wonyoung, Korra, and Naruto looking surprised, as the property developer approaches the dragon eel spirit. What if I abandon my claim on the land around the portal? And why would you do that? Wonyoung looks at the avatars. I owe these to my life. And the last thing I want to do is cause more hostility in Republic City. I'd rather do what I can to support the avatar in bringing peace. If what you say is true, the spirit says, turning back to normal. Then I'm willing to let this matter lie and allow the future to unfold. The other spirits also return to their normal forms and start to leave the area. The dragon eel spirit remains behind as Mako comes running over. But we'll be watching what happens next, Avatar. And for your sake, I hope the situation improves. Otherwise, you'll be seeing us again soon. He leaves as Korra sighs in relief. Thank you, Mr. Kume. Takuga's gone. I searched the area where he fell, but there was no sign of him. And I didn't see him go back through the portal. Mako pants as he runs up to them. I bet he'll lay low for a while. but I doubt we've seen the last of him. In the woods, Takuga looked back before gasping as two swords stabbed him from the back, piercing both lungs. Before they were quickly pulled and lobbed his head off. The woman walked in the moonlight and cleaned the blood off by chopping the air, then spun them before putting them on her back. Looking down at the body, she went through hand signs and had a hole open up under it before closing as it fell. Flashback end. She looked at Naruto's house one more time before turning to the prison. Just one more loose end? She then jumped across the rooftops as up ahead, Guan walked past his barred window. The end.